It's about kind of dark out here. I just lit a fire on the back porch. It's about 20 degrees. Got pretty cool last night. But the wind went down, so that makes a big difference. Trying to warm up the back porch so we can sit out here and have coffee. I put a light in the well house yesterday evening. Nice and warm in here. That's about 250 water. So I'll turn it off in a little while after the sun comes up pretty good, and it'll be okay. But I don't know if anybody's a lot of people watching have whales or not, water whales. Some do, probably, and some don't. But what we discovered a few years ago, we had a real hard freeze. Got down to 17 below zero here, just out of the blue one night, and all that pipe you see coming in, well, not all of it, but it cracked in a few places. It froze and cracked. And what we run into, I just happened to have some fittings. Most water well fittings in our part of the country anyway, I don't know about everywhere else, are 1.25 inches. This PVC, or I guess you use pipe, metal pipe. But just about 99% of them that I know of are 1.25 inches. And there's two big box stores within 20 miles, Lowe's and Home Depot. They were sold out of their pipe and fittings within 2 days. So it's good to stock up on stuff. You never know when one of those freak freezes comes along. That's the first one I ever seen out here, but it got down to 17 below. And a lot of people were without water because of that live out in the country that have wells. And again, that's 1.25 inches. And the PVC, it's going to crack. It doesn't stretch. Copper will stretch a little bit. But we learned a lesson there to always have plenty of Sonny's out here helping me. Aren't you, Sonny? I don't know if he's, there he goes. It's still dark out here. It's about a little after 6 a.m. But anyway, I thought I'd let people know about that. I'm going back in. It's warm. Now it's warm on the back porch. I've got the potbelly stove going. I'm going to get a cup of coffee and sit out here and stay warm. Over here behind the heater, he really enjoys these heaters.
Oh, here he is.
He had to, before we found him, I guess he spent a few nights out last year in the cold. Tiger's over here, got the coffee perking, and there's the fire going. Christmas lights, just a little bit of light, and we got a ceiling fan going right here, kind of spread the heat out. So we're all set.
I got these Christmas lights on just to see if they were working, and they are, and they're back up if it gets any colder. So it was 20 degrees this morning, and this was 59 in here. So I need to go ahead and put more water jugs in here to get a little bit warmer. It feels pretty good. I will only turn these on when it's really get cold. They're just for backup, and I bought these big bulbs for heat, and I can feel the heat on them. So I didn't use them last year because I didn't need to, but just in case, they're my backup. I really like it, staying warm in here. We're going to talk about our solar pop can heater. It's funny how it is staying warm through the night.
I better get some coffee.
I have our coffee.
Yesterday afternoon, I believe it was approximately 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I closed the solar heater up that the one that we've had all along, that we rerouted the intake air and made it coming from the house instead of from outside where it's a lot warmer air. And I closed the window on it to where I wanted to build the heat up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then at bedtime I opened it back up, opened the window back up to where it could generate warm air into the house. And I left it open all night long. I wanted to see how it would operate if it would get cold. This morning, when we come out about 6 o'clock, or when I came out about 6 o'clock, a little after, it was still between 80 and 90 degrees coming out of it. So it works like I wanted it to. And the new one that I'm building, it'll probably work about twice as well, because we're going to put the soda pop cans in there and fill it. Susie's going to fill them with sand, and instead of having just air to hold the heat, we'll have the sand, and that sand will store up more heat. It'll be more mass to store up heat. And we'll do the new one the same way. I'll probably keep it closed during the day. We'll have grills in the wall inside that we can open and shut on the top and down at the bottom at floor level. That way I can contain the heat in it all day and let the heat build up. And then when we go to bed at night, open it up and let it generate from the floor air in the living room. And this is on the west end of the house. And generate and bring the hot air into the house. And I believe it will cut way down on our wood heat. And it'll help us as we get older. It's harder and harder to, it'll get harder to do the wood splitting. We've got a real good wood splitter.
Yeah.
It's got a handle about that long.
Thanks.
It works well. But anyway, that solar heater is working really better than what I thought it would. Initially, I didn't want to come into the house with it because I didn't want to put a hole in the wall until I let it run and see how it operated. And we were pulling real cold air into it. Now we're just pulling air from the floor level of the house, inside the house, in it to circulate up through it and then come out the top, and it heats as it's going through the pop cans. The way the new one that I'm going to build is going to be full of sand, so the air will generate and come around the pop cans on the front and the back. The pop cans will be right against the glass, just like this one here, but there's still a space where the air can come up around them instead of through them, and it'll still heat the can. We'll paint the cans black, of course, just like we did on the old one. I think it'll work twice as well.
I think so too.
And instead of using so much wood heat at night, we really have to use a lot, not a lot, but we load it down heavy, the wood heater at night, and turn the damper down. And we'll still use some at night, but I think the solar heater is going to provide most of the heating for the nighttime. And we don't get real super cold out here either. We do get down in the high teens usually, anywhere from 15 to 20 on some nights, not every night. Mostly when in the real cold weather we're in the 20s, 20 to close to 30. We have had it down to one time 17 below, and that was just a rare occurrence.
Broke our well pipes.
Yeah, we had to redo the fittings and the pipe inside the well house. It's all PVC. And I talked about that on this earlier video, that it's all 1¼ inch pipe on ours, and most of them out here. And it's a good thing to stock up on fittings and pipe, because when that happened, everybody's well went down. Everything froze up, and within 2 days, all of the stores were sold out on fittings. And it takes them a week to restock. But anyway, getting back to the solar heater, I'm really happy with the way it works. And the cost is very little. The biggest cost would be to get the panel, the clear panel, the glass panel. I guess you call it a solar panel. It's not black, it's clear. But I was lucky and found somebody that wanted them taken down off of a roof, several of them, and I took them down and dismantled them and kept the glass. I've still got a few left, like about 5 left, and that'll plenty to do us, because I'm going to put this next one up that's with sand in it in soda pop cans. If you have a lot of beer cans, they work too. It might smell. Your house might smell like an old beer joint for an hour or two.
And how many beers will I have to drink to?
Yeah, it takes
like
about
200.
Well, these particular glass panels, you got to size it according to the panel, and the glass panels I have are roughly 7 by 3, 7 foot by 3 foot. They're not. That's not exact. I think they're a little bit less than that, but well, to be exact, I think they're 80 inches by 35 and a half. I remember now. I measured them the other day when I started this new solar heater, and the old one took 87 pop cans, but I didn't go up all the way to the top. I'm about 12 inches to 16 inches from the top, because I need to have it access into the window that we open in the utility room. The new ones, the pop cans will go all the way to the top, and I'll have a round access going through the wall, and it'll vent into the wall that way, and then I'll have a grill on the inside of the house, like a register. They're actually called a register, and they've got like on your floor, if you got central heat, you've got registers down there, and you can get them, but that they open, you can close them. And I'll put screen wire on them to make sure no bugs get through. They shouldn't, because it's going to be a lock system. It won't be open. And I will have a venting mechanism on the top for the summer, because in the summer you have to put a shade cloth, and I like to use a light brown one. It doesn't absorb a lot of heat. And I'm going to make a venting mechanism out of probably a 2x6, a rough cut 2x6, and put a gasket on it. The holes, I'll have holes in the top of the solar heater that in the summertime I can raise that board and then cover it with a shade cloth, but then the heat will vent out the top, what heat it gets. But with the shade cloth, it really cuts down on the heating effect that it has. You've got to do that or they'll get too hot in the summertime. And otherwise you have to take them down. But that's about all I got. I've got to go to work.
I do too.
Yeah. We've got to insulate the chicken houses a little bit better. We use old feed sacks. Susie will probably come out and film when I do it. We save our old feed sacks and line the inside of the chicken houses with it, because I've just got like a log cabin and I didn't chink them. I'm too lazy. And but we use the feed sacks on the inside as acts as a wind barrier, where they don't meet real well. But
yeah, and it works real good.
It works real good, but they do wear out. They're kind of a plastic, woven plastic type feed sack, and they cut the wind down. And when we shut the windows on them and their body heat, it stays pretty nice in it. But I got to redo some of them and take care of that.
That's what you're going to do today.
Yeah, I got to do that because it got cold. I let it get cold on me before I got it done.
Yeah.
And they're out there
Cold.
They're not very
I
happy.
know, they don't want to come out and eat this
They're not
morning.
very happy. Well, the Americanas seem like they're real happy about it.
Yeah, they don't
But I
mind.
think they tolerate the cold better. The others, not so much. They don't like the real cold. They don't like the real heat either. But anyway, that's enough for that. That's it, kind of an update on the solar panel, the original one, and I don't know if I have time today, but I'm gonna do some more on the one that I'm building. I've got to put some spacers in there on the bottom of it inside to make a shelf to hold the sheet iron. I'll put sheet iron on the bottom of it, or on the inside of it, and I'll explain it better out there. But the sheet iron, it's corrugated sheet iron is what it is. Corrugated sheeting, I guess they call it. But it's got ripples in it. And a Coke can will fit perfectly in those ripples. And there's a little bit of room. Just they actually touch a little bit, but there is room on the corners of each one of them for air to pass up around those Coke cans. And I'll explain it and show it better as I go along, but I'm going to just do it in steps because I got other things to do. But I am eager to get that one up before real cold weather usually doesn't get here until December.
Yeah.
But if this is cold, 20 degrees is pretty cold for October here. But we did, I think in 1992, we got a cold spell here, and it snowed 7 inches on Halloween night.
That's right.
Because it looked so pretty out in the foothills. We lived back by the foothills then. We saddled the horses up and went for a ride. And it was 7 inches. That was a record snow for the basin. It gets way worse than that up in the mountains. And it was a wet snow. And as we was riding, the horses' feet would build up with snow on the bottom of them, and we had to turn around and come back because I was afraid it would lame them walking. Because they would sling it off from time to time, but then they'd be walking kind of crooked.
Yeah.
And I was afraid it was going to lame them. You can get a shoe.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, what was that?
Oh my gosh.
That scared me too.
I jumped too. Well.
But anyway, you can get a special shoe for a horse that'll keeps that snow from forming. That's what I've been told. I've never used them. But we had shoes on them, but it kept building up, and it would build up about 3 inches, I believe, and then they'd kick it off after it get about that thick. But they wouldn't kick them all off at the same time, and they were walking kind of lopsided. So we turned around and headed back to the house. But anyway, it was a heavy snow, and it was on Halloween night because we went out the next morning, and it wasn't real cold. But anyway, it's getting cold early this year, so we might have a hard winter. I've been worried about that we're going to have a cold winter because we had such a hot summer.
Well, you have to get that panel up.
Yeah, I do.
Well,
And I need to ride horses too.
appreciate y'all coming by and watching Out West Homestead. Thank you very much. We gotta go to work. Bye.